"I only married you for money," my wife confessed, after I uncovered her affair with my best friend and $89,000 stolen from our accounts. I just smiled across the table. By morning, she realized the locks were just the first thing I took back. Reddit, I never thought I'd be the guy writing this kind of post, but here I am and I need to get this off my chest. I 35M just discovered my wife 32F has been cheating with my best friend for 6 years. When I confronted her, she said she only married me for money. I smiled and said, okay. What happened next destroyed her completely. I'm Jake, I drive hazmat trucks for a living. Good money, steady work, but it means I'm on the road 3-4 days a week sometimes. I've been doing this since I was 22, bought my own house at 23, always been financially responsible. Not rich, but comfortable. Met my wife Sophia in 2014 at a friend's barbecue. She was gorgeous, funny, seemed to really get me. We moved fast, married in 2016, had our son Ethan in 2019. He's 5 now and the best thing that ever happened to me. My best friend Ryan has been in my life since we were kids. He was my best man, comes over for Sunday football, helps with house projects. I trusted him completely. That was my first mistake. 3 weeks ago, I came home from a long haul to Denver. I was exhausted, just wanted to see my family. Sophia immediately starts screaming at me about missing Ethan's preschool play. Fair enough, I felt bad about it, but the load was mandatory. The fight escalated. She's calling me a shitty father, saying I care more about work than family. I'm trying to explain that this job pays for everything: the house, her car, Ethan's school, everything. That's when she said it. "I only married you because I thought he was yours anyway." I asked her what she meant. She got this panicked look and said, "Nothing, forget it." But you can't unhear something like that. I couldn't sleep that night. Kept replaying that sentence. The next morning after she left for work, I started looking. First thing I checked was our phone records. I pay all the bills so I can see everything online. Holy shit. Sophia and Ryan have been texting and calling constantly. We're talking hundreds of texts per month, phone calls when I'm on the road. Then I remembered we share an iPad for Netflix. Opened up messages and found years of conversations between them. Years. Going back to 2018, a year before Ethan was born. It wasn't just emotional cheating. They were planning meetups when I was working, talking about their future together, discussing what would happen if I found out. Sophia was talking about leaving me once Ethan got older and she could get alimony and child support. But the worst part. They were joking about whether Ethan was mine or Ryan's during the pregnancy. Sophia was scared to get a paternity test done because she wasn't sure. My own wife wasn't sure if our son was mine. I started digging through bank statements and credit cards. Found a credit card I didn't know about with $16,000 in debt. Hotels, restaurants, weekend trips, all when I was supposedly working. Our joint savings account had mysterious withdrawals over the past 2 years. $200 here, $500 there. I added it up, $28,000 missing. She'd been funding their affair with our money. Money I earned driving dangerous loads across the country while she was fucking my best friend in our house. Yesterday, I couldn't take it anymore. I got a paternity test done secretly. Ethan is 99.99% mine, thank God. But knowing that just made me angrier. When Sophia got home from work, I was sitting at the kitchen table with printouts of everything. Phone records, bank statements, screenshots of their messages. "Sophia, we need to talk," I said calmly. She took one look at the papers and went white. Started crying immediately, saying it wasn't what it looked like, that she could explain everything. I cut her off. "You said you only married me for money. You were right. That's exactly what this was, a business transaction, and now I'm terminating the contract." She tried to grab my hand, begging me to listen. "Jake, please, I love you. It was a mistake. I'll end it with Ryan right now." I pulled my hand away. 6 years isn't a mistake, Sophia. It's a choice. Multiple choices, every single day for 6 years. That's when she switched tactics and got nasty. Started screaming about how I'm never home, how Ryan actually cares about her, how she deserves better than a truck driver. I just smiled and said, "You're right, you do deserve better. Unfortunately, you chose to cheat instead of asking for a divorce like an adult. Now you get neither." I'd already moved most of our money to a separate account. Called a lawyer my brother recommended. Changed the locks while she was at work today. She's been blowing up my phone, alternating between begging and threatening. Her parents called me screaming about how I can't just kick her out. I told them their daughter can explain what she did to earn this treatment. Ryan tried calling too. I answered and said, You have 24 hours to disappear from my life permanently, or I start making phone calls to your work, your family, and every mutual friend we have." He hung up. "I've documented everything. Screenshots, bank records, phone logs, hotel receipts. I've got enough evidence to destroy both of them in court. I'm filing for divorce on Monday. Primary custody of Ethan, reimbursement for the money she stole, and I want her completely out of my life. Sophia thinks she can manipulate me like she has for years. She thinks I'll take her back because we have a family to think about. She has no idea what's coming." Reddit, am I wrong for going nuclear? Part of me feels bad for Ethan. He loves his mom and this is going to hurt him, but I can't let him grow up thinking this behavior is normal. I can't let Sophia teach him that betraying people who love you is acceptable. She chose Ryan over our family. She chose to steal from us. She chose to lie for 6 fucking years. These are the consequences of her choices. But some people are already calling me heartless. Her sister texted saying I'm destroying our family over a mistake. Her parents are threatening to sue for grandparents' rights. Am I being too harsh? Should I try to work this out for Ethan's sake? Or should I finish what I started and make sure she faces every consequence of what she's done? Update coming soon. The divorce papers get served tomorrow, and I'm planning to confront Ryan in person this weekend. So Reddit, AITA for planning to destroy my cheating wife's life. She stole $44,000 in 6 years of my life. I think that deserves some payback. Update 1. Thanks for all the support, Reddit. Over 10,000 comments telling me to lawyer up and document everything. You were absolutely right. Here's what happened when I dropped the hammer. First thing Monday morning, I met with Rebecca Sterling, the divorce attorney my brother David recommended. She's a shark, 25 years experience, specializes in high-conflict divorces. I walked in with 2 bankers' boxes full of evidence. Phone records, bank statements, credit card bills, screenshots of messages, hotel receipts, everything. Rebecca spent 2 hours going through it all. "Jake, this is one of the most comprehensive infidelity cases I've ever seen," she said. "The financial misconduct alone is going to destroy her in court." She explained that Sophia taking $44,000 without my knowledge constitutes financial fraud in our state. We could press criminal charges if we wanted to. But the best part, I'd bought the house 2 years before we met, so it's entirely premarital property. Sophia has zero claim to it. She thought she'd get half of everything, turns out she's getting nothing. Saturday morning, I texted Ryan, "Meet me at the marina at 10 a.m., want to show you something on the boat." He showed up nervous as hell. We walked out on the dock, away from everyone else. That's when I pulled out my phone and started reading his text to my wife. "Can't wait until Jake's on the road again so we can have the whole weekend. Ring any bells, buddy?" His face went dead white. Started stuttering about how it wasn't what I thought, how they were just friends. I kept reading. "Sophia, you deserve so much better than a truck driver. When you finally leave him, we can be together properly." That's when he broke down completely. Started crying, begging me to understand. Said the affair started just a few months after Sophia and I got together, but he never meant for it to go this far. "6 years, Ryan. You've been fucking my wife for 6 years. You were my best man while screwing my bride." He tried to grab my arm, saying we could work it out, that our friendship meant everything to him. I pulled away and said, "Our friendship died the first time you stuck your dick in my wife." I gave him an ultimatum: disappear completely or I'd destroy his life publicly. He works construction, word gets around fast in that industry. I had screenshots of him talking about wanting to claim Sophia and Ethan as his own family. He agreed to leave town. I heard from a mutual friend that he took a job in Denver and left 2 days later. Sunday night, after Ethan was asleep, I laid out everything on the kitchen table like a prosecutor. Printed bank statements, phone records, hotel receipts, screenshots of messages. The works. Sophia came downstairs and saw the evidence spread out. She tried to act confused at first. "What is all this, Jake?" I pointed to a hotel receipt. "The Marriott downtown 3 months ago. You told me you were at your sister's for the weekend." Then to a bank statement. $500 withdrawn the same day. Cash you gave to Ryan for your little getaway. Her story kept changing. First it was innocent friendship, then emotional support during our rough patch. Then Ryan was taking advantage of her vulnerability. I cut through all the bullshit. "Sophia, I have 6 years of evidence. Stop lying to me." That's when she switched to fake tears and begging. Threw herself at me, saying she'd end it immediately, that she'd do anything to save our marriage. "Making you happy wasn't my job, Sophia. Being a good husband and father was. You decided that wasn't enough." She tried offering sex, saying we could go to counseling, even suggested bringing in a third person if that's what I wanted. The desperation was pathetic. When none of that worked, she got nasty. Started screaming about how I was never home, how Ryan actually cared about her feelings, how she deserved better than being married to a glorified delivery boy. I just smiled and pulled out the divorce papers. You're right, you do deserve better. Unfortunately, you're getting exactly what you chose. While preparing for court, Rebecca's investigator found even more financial misconduct. Sophia had opened 3 credit cards in my name without telling me. Total debt, $23,000. She'd also been transferring money to Ryan for over 2 years. He was basically living off my income while fucking my wife in my house. The total financial damage, $67,000. Money I earned driving dangerous loads while she was playing house with my best friend. After I served the papers, Sophia tried everything to manipulate the situation. She moved back in with her parents and started a campaign to paint me as the villain. Her father called threatening to kick my ass for abandoning his daughter. I told him his daughter could explain where $67,000 of my money went and hung up. Her mother tried the guilt angle, saying I was breaking up a family and that Ethan needed his mother. I reminded her that Sophia broke up the family when she chose to cheat for 6 years. Sophia herself showed up at my work, crying and begging in front of my coworkers, made a complete scene until security escorted her out. She was trying to embarrass me into taking her back. The worst part was when Sophia filed for primary custody of Ethan. She claimed I was an absentee father because of my travel schedule and that she'd been the primary caregiver for 5 years. This is where I'm glad I documented everything. I had photos of every school event I attended, every doctor's appointment I took him to, every soccer practice I coached. I'd been adjusting my schedule for years to be present for my son. Meanwhile, I found evidence that Sophia had left Ethan with babysitters during the day while she met Ryan at hotels. She was neglecting our son to carry on her affair. Emergency custody hearing is scheduled for next month. Sophia hired an expensive lawyer and is claiming I'm an unfit father who abandons his family for work. She has no idea what evidence I've compiled. Phone records showing she ignored my calls about Ethan's emergencies because she was with Ryan. Bank statements proving she spent our son's college fund on her affair. Rebecca thinks we have an excellent case. The judge is going to see a father who worked hard to provide for his family versus a mother who stole from that family to fund an affair. The hardest part is protecting my son through all this. He knows mommy and daddy aren't living together anymore, but he doesn't understand why. I've been consistent with his routine, keeping him in the same school, same activities. He's staying in his own room in our house while Sophia sees him at her parents' place. The kid is resilient, but I can see he's confused. He keeps asking when mommy is coming home. I just tell him that grown-ups sometimes have to live in different places, but daddy loves him no matter what. Reddit, was I too harsh? Some people think I should have tried counseling first, that I should show mercy for Ethan's sake. Her parents are calling me heartless for destroying their daughter's life. But here's the thing, she destroyed her own life. Every choice she made for 6 years led to this moment. I didn't make her cheat. I didn't make her steal our money. I didn't make her lie to our son. I'm not trying to hurt Sophia out of spite. I'm trying to protect my son from growing up thinking this behavior is acceptable. I want him to know that actions have consequences, that betraying people who love you isn't okay. Court hearing in 3 weeks. I'm confident we'll get primary custody based on the evidence, but Sophia's lawyer is supposedly ruthless. I've adjusted my work schedule to take mostly local runs. Home every night by 6 p.m., weekends free. My company's been understanding about the situation. Rebecca says the financial restitution case is solid. Sophia will likely have to pay me back over time, which means she'll be broke for years. Update coming after the court hearing. She thinks the judge will automatically side with the mother. She's about to learn that courts care more about what's best for the child than gender. Update 2, Reddit, you called it. 15,000 upvotes and everyone said document everything. That advice saved me in court. The hearing yesterday was a complete massacre, and Sophia never saw it coming. The past month has been insane. Sophia has been desperately trying every manipulation tactic in the book to avoid court. She showed up at my house unannounced multiple times, trying to talk things through like adults. Each time, I told her to contact my lawyer and close the door. She started leaving gifts for Ethan on the porch with notes about how much Mommy misses him. Her parents escalated the harassment. Her father came to my work again, this time with two of his buddies, trying to intimidate me into being reasonable. I called the police and they were escorted off the property. Rebecca filed a restraining order the next day. The worst was when Sophia tried to manipulate Ethan directly. During one of her supervised visits, she told him that Daddy was being mean and wouldn't let them be a family anymore. Ethan came home confused and upset, asking why I was making Mommy sad. That's when I knew I was doing the right thing. She was willing to traumatize our 5-year-old son to avoid facing consequences for her actions. Rebecca's forensic accountant found even more evidence of financial misconduct. Sophia had been paying Ryan's rent for 8 months, $1,200 a month out of our joint account. She'd been categorizing it as groceries in our budget. She'd also taken a $15,000 loan against my 401k without telling me, using forged documents. The total financial damage reached $89,000, but the most damning evidence was a recording I found on the shared iPad. Sophia and Ryan planning what they'd do with my money after she divorced me and got alimony. They were already planning to move in together and use my child support to fund their relationship. The court appointed a guardian ad litem to represent Ethan's interests. This was a retired family court judge who would interview both parents and make custody recommendations. I was nervous about this meeting, but it went perfectly. I showed her Ethan's room, his artwork on the refrigerator, photos of us at school events and soccer games. She could see this was a home where a child was loved and prioritized. I also provided documentation of my schedule changes. I'd moved to exclusively local routes, turned down higher-paying long-haul jobs, anything to be home with Ethan every night. The guardian ad litem asked tough questions about my work schedule and whether Ethan had adequate supervision. I had answers for everything: detailed childcare plans, emergency contacts, proof that I'd been the primary caregiver even while working full-time. Yesterday was the big day. Sophia showed up looking like a soccer mom, conservative dress, minimal makeup, the whole innocent victim act. Her lawyer opened with the expected strategy, painting me as an absentee father who chose work over family, arguing that Sophia had been the primary caregiver for 5 years. They presented my travel schedule as evidence of abandonment. Made it sound like I was never home, never involved in Ethan's life, just a paycheck who showed up occasionally. Sophia took the stand and gave an Oscar-worthy performance, crying about how she'd sacrificed her career to raise our son, how she'd been essentially a single mother because of my work schedule. She claimed the affair was a moment of weakness caused by loneliness and my emotional unavailability. Said she'd made mistakes but deserved a second chance to be the mother Ethan needed. The judge seemed sympathetic. I started to worry. Then it was our turn and Rebecca came out swinging. She started with the financial evidence. Bank statements showing $89,000 in unauthorized withdrawals and debt. The judge's expression changed immediately when he saw the scope of the theft. "Your Honor, this isn't a case of marital disagreements. This is financial fraud committed to fund an extramarital affair that lasted 6 years, over half of this marriage." Rebecca presented the timeline. The affair started just months after the wedding, continued through Sophia's pregnancy, and intensified after Ethan was born. Then came the parenting evidence. Photos of every school event, every soccer game, every doctor's appointment. Testimony from teachers about my involvement. Evidence that I'd coached Ethan's soccer team for 2 years. The most powerful moment was when Rebecca showed the judge my work schedule modifications. I'd taken a $20,000 annual pay cut to be home every night. Meanwhile, Sophia had been using childcare to meet Ryan at hotels during the day. But the real nuclear bomb was the recording of Sophia and Ryan planning their future with my money. Rebecca played it in open court. Sophia's voice clear as day. "Once I get alimony and child support, we can get that house in the suburbs. Jake's going to pay for our whole life and not even know it." Ryan's response: "He deserves it for being stupid enough to trust us." The judge's face went stone cold. You could see him processing that these people had been planning to defraud me for years while portraying themselves as victims. Sophia tried to claim the recording was taken out of context, but Rebecca had timestamps showing it was recorded just 2 weeks before I discovered the affair. After a 2-hour hearing, the judge didn't even need a recess. Based on the evidence presented, I'm awarding primary physical custody to Mr. Morrison. Mrs. Morrison will have supervised visitation 3 days per week until she completes a parenting evaluation and financial restitution plan. Sophia's face went white. She'd been so confident that being the mother would automatically win her custody. She never expected the judge to care more about financial fraud and the child's stability. The judge also ordered immediate restitution of $89,000, with a payment plan to be established within 30 days. If Sophia defaulted, she'd face criminal charges for fraud. After court, Sophia completely lost it in the hallway. Started screaming that the system was rigged, that I'd bought the judge, that this was all revenge for her making a mistake. Her lawyer tried to calm her down, but she was hysterical. She kept yelling that Ethan needed his mother, that I was destroying their family out of spite. I just walked past her and said, "Ethan has his parent, the one who didn't steal from him to fund an affair." Security had to escort her out of the building. Sophia's parents tried one last guilt trip, calling me to say I'd ruined their daughter's life, and that Ethan would grow up hating me for keeping him from his mother. I told them their daughter ruined her own life, and if they wanted to see their grandson, they needed to accept the court's decision and stop the harassment. Ryan's mom actually called to apologize. She said she'd heard what happened and was disgusted by her son's behavior. She offered to testify about Ryan's character if needed for future proceedings. Ethan is adjusting well to the new routine. He sees Sophia at her parents' house 3 times a week for 4 hours each visit. She's required to attend parenting classes and can't discuss the legal proceedings with him. The supervised visits are actually good for Ethan. He gets to see his mom without being exposed to her manipulation and drama. The supervisor makes sure the visits focus on his needs, not Sophia's emotional needs. I'm home every night by 6 p.m., helping with homework, making dinner, reading bedtime stories. We've established a routine that works for both of us. Sophia has to pay me back $1,500 per month for the stolen money. Given that she's working part-time at a dental office, this will take her about 5 years. She also has to maintain life insurance with Ethan as the beneficiary and contribute to his college fund monthly. The court made sure he'll be financially protected despite her theft. Final custody hearing is scheduled in 6 months. If Sophia completes her requirements and shows stability, she might get unsupervised visitation on weekends. But honestly, I'm not sure she will. She's been missing some of her supervised visits, claiming she's too upset to see Ethan under these conditions. She's more focused on appealing the financial judgment than on rebuilding her relationship with our son. Final update coming in 6 months after the permanent custody hearing. Update 3, final update Reddit, 25,000 upvotes and messages from hundreds of fathers. Your support changed my life. Here's how it all ended. The ending will surprise you. 6 months ago, permanent custody hearing. Guardian ad litem's report basically sealed it. My consistent parenting versus Sophia missing 40% of her supervised visits. Judge ruled, primary custody to me during school weeks, Sophia gets alternate weekends. She continues paying $1,500 monthly restitution for the $89,000 stolen. What happened to Sophia was both sad and inevitable. Lost her job after having a breakdown at work. Couldn't afford an apartment with the restitution payments. Had to move back with her parents permanently. Ryan, 3 months after Denver, he ghosted her completely. She drove there twice trying to win him back. He was already dating someone else, a single woman with no baggage. That's when she hit rock bottom. 8 months ago, Sophia showed up at my house at 2 a.m., drunk and crying, begging me to take her back. "Jake, I'm so sorry, I ruined everything. Please, I'll do anything. I can't live without my family." 2 weeks later, she was hospitalized after what her parents called an incident. 3 months of inpatient mental health treatment. Here's the shocking part: during treatment, Sophia actually started getting better. Real therapy, not manipulation tactics. She wrote genuine letters to Ethan focused on him, not her needs. When she got out, she was different, humbled. Asked to meet with lawyers present to apologize properly. "Jake, you were a good husband and father. Everything that happened was my fault. I destroyed the best thing in my life." She wasn't trying to get back together, just taking responsibility for the first time ever. Over 6 months, Sophia has been consistent with visits. Got a stable job, started AA, sees a therapist twice weekly. More importantly, her time with Ethan improved dramatically. No manipulation, just being present. Ethan comes home happy now, talking about fun things with mommy. I finished our basement with a train set Ethan and I work on together. Coach his soccer team. Home every night for bedtime stories. Started taking better care of myself, gym, therapy. Not dating yet, but rebuilding who I am beyond just being a provider. We're not getting back together, that trust is broken forever. But we've developed functional co-parenting. No drama, no manipulation. When Ethan got sick last month, she texted updates and offered to help. Her parents apologized. Her father said he was ashamed of how he treated me and grateful I gave Sophia a chance to rebuild with Ethan. Last month, I told Sophia she could have Ethan for a full week during summer vacation. No lawyers, no court orders. She cried when I offered. Jake, I know I don't deserve this kindness. I told her, this isn't about what you deserve, it's about what Ethan deserves. I didn't win by destroying Sophia. I won by protecting my son and refusing unacceptable behavior. Sometimes people can change, but only after losing everything. You can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, but you can protect yourself and your children. Thank you for giving me courage to fight for my son. Your support helped me become the father Ethan needed. To other fathers, document everything, follow legal process, never stop fighting for your kids. Sometimes the best revenge is just living well and being the parent your kid deserves. AITA for allowing Sophia back into Ethan's life gradually.